Moved by Audrey, second by Cynthia. All in favor? Be opposed? See none, carried. Let's go to number 4, adoption of the general council minutes for June 9th, 2026. Moved by Melba, second by Cynthia. Any questions or comments? See none?
Aye.
See none?
Aye.
All in favor? Anybody opposed? See none, carried. So Jody just told us we're live now. Okay, so let's go to number 5, delegations and presentations. We have the seed committee. Come on up. Mm-hmm. Good evening and
Good
welcome.
evening. How are you?
Good. You can introduce yourselves and
Sure.
go into your presentation.
Okay, perfect. First of all, thank you for giving us the opportunity. This is my second time in front of council, so really appreciate it. My name is Natasha Tennant. I'm with Imperial Oil and here with Jerica Thomas Hill. Oh, maybe.
Sego Seguego, Jerica Thomas Hill. I am serving as co-chair of the SEED committee. I'm programs and services team lead at GREAT, so just providing some support and representation from our community.
Perfect. So today we want to present to you the updates of the 2025 and then 2026 plans for the Science Education Employment Development, so our SEED agreement that Six Nations has with Imperial. And I wanted to highlight 2 other folks that have joined us from Imperial as well. So we have Jody Grant, sorry, and I'm just going to look over. So Jody Grant, she's our current Nanacoke refinery manager, and we have Teresa Kassar, who's the incoming refinery manager, and we wanted to make sure that they were here today to have the opportunity to hear what we're doing with the community, and also they're the big supporter of the agreement that we have. So the funds come from them, and so they wanted to show their support of the stuff that we're doing with the community as well.
Okay, welcome.
Perfect. So if we can go to the second page. Perfect. So just to give a bit of a background on the seed. So, we've had a longstanding agreement and relationship with Six Nations through seed. We're in our 24th year, which we're very excited about. We jointly developed this agreement with Six Nations elected council in 2002, and then renewed it for another 7-year term that takes us all the way up to 2029. And when we look at from the beginning of the agreement till now, we've invested $6.8 million into the communities for various educational programs that go from elementary school, secondary, and then post-secondary as well, supporting trades as well. So really trying to work with the community through our SEED committee, which we'll talk about on the next subsequent slides, who sits on those, to ensure that we're meeting the needs and helping to foster education in STEM, and also hopefully employment opportunities at our site. We're half an hour away from the community, and so really want to make sure that we're continuing to have those positive engagements and relationship. Okay, so if we go to the next slide. So our SEED committee goals, these haven't changed from previous years. It's really what our key focus is as we meet. We meet once a quarter with all the committee members to ensure that we're meeting the needs of the communities through the various organizations that sit on the committee. And we really are looking to help support the programs in terms of education that help support STEM, so science, technology, and making sure that we're hitting on those things that can hopefully lead to a longer-term career potentially at Imperial and Nanacoke. Okay. And the next slide, we'll talk about our governance structure for 2025 and 26. So we have had some change in terms of who's sitting on this, but we still have Rebecca Jameson. I know that she retired, but she's been kind enough to continue to sit on our committee and help support from an SMP and STEAM Academy perspective. We have Theta Brandt supporting our Six Nations district school boards. And then at the beginning of the year, we had Stacy Hill, and then Danielle Van Every came back from mat leave, and she helped support the Grand Erie District School Board. And then we have Jerica as our co-chair as well, and that's a really great development. I know for the past few years didn't have a co-chair from community, and so really want to say a big shout out and thank you to Jerica for stepping in. Really appreciate that, because I think it helps lend another voice to make sure that we're supporting what the needs are in the community. And then from an Imperial standpoint, so I've continued to be the co-chair in my role as Indigenous and External Relations Manager for Ontario and Imperial. And then we have couple of new folks supporting us, Corey Schmidt and Ashley Ryan, who are our HR manager at the Nanticoke Refinery, and then our environmental and regulatory advisor. So really trying to touch on those points where we could have touch points with the community and making sure that we have a clear line of sight to the site. Okay. If we go to the next slide. So when we started this agreement, our original budget for support was $250,000. In 2016, we added a CPI supplement, which basically means that our budget has increased every year, and we spend the full budget every year. We ensure that through our quarterly reviews that we're making sure that we're talking as a committee to ensure the funds are being spent. If we always have a true up call in September that tells us, hey, we may have some more space here, or there are some new activities that community members have brought up that we want to support, that we want to make sure that there's funds for, and that's where we do our adjustments. So for 2025, our budget was $361,000, and all the funds were directed to programs with a very small allocation to support some administrative costs for SMP. Okay. And so if we want to talk about the great work that was achieved in 2025, these are some of the key highlights that we wanted to bring up for today. And we've kind of split it up in trying to show where we've supported at all levels of education. So we have elementary schools and students. We've spent about $53,000, and a lot of that is the Mad Science Day Camp. So that's always very popular. We have about 75 students that go through that in the summer. There's always a big wait list for that. We've already recommitted for this year, and I know that they're filling up already. So it's a great program, and we want to continue to support that. We also have career fairs that we support at the grade 7 and 8 level, and then school fairs. And then we also do support teacher development as well, so they can take classes, etc., and then they can have that funded back to them. So really trying to ensure that the teacher training is there as well. In terms of secondary schools and students, we have supported about $66,000 on that. A lot of that is homework support and tutoring, so we do have that going through, and I think we discussed that last year, and we've actually seen the numbers go up. So we typically see around exam time and at the end of the school year, we'll see a bigger bump in folks trying to get homework support, but the number of students that we saw, from last year to this year was an uptick, which is great. Because I think in parallel to that, we've also seen an increase in the STAY awards in the school awards. So that's for awards from basically grade 7s to grade 12s at all levels. So whether they're in academic or applied, it's the top students in science and math. And I'm happy to say that there was an increase of about $1,000 this year that we attributed to that, which means that more students are qualifying. And really want to thank council that we actually had the opportunity to present those STAY awards in person this year. And that was really, I was there presenting it with Danielle, and it was really powerful to see all those students go up and have a big stage filled with them. So, really, yeah, like I said, powerful to see good work being put in place and the kids being recognized. So really want to highlight that, and we continue to support that and are extending it now to various other schools. There's 2 schools that we're adding this year, I think the private schools that we were going to add, and they will be able to qualify for these awards as well. In terms of post-secondary, we supported $58,000 there. So there were 3 seed scholarships, so those are provided to post-secondary. So there was 3 students going to university, STEM related. that all were able to get scholarships and that we were able to support, which was wonderful. And then we also have opportunities at our site, so our summer student positions that we filled, and that'll continue to go into 2026 as well. In terms of Six Nations Polytechnic, we spent about $98,000 there. There was some environmental science curriculum development, that was the bulk of that, and then some trade support. And then through Jerica and the GREAT team, we supported $86,000 there. So we had 2 apprentice awards, and then supported the welding program there. Okay. And then there's a small part, there's always a small admin fee, but that's less than 1% of the total. So really wanting to highlight here that the bulk of our budget goes to the programs that supports the students that are going through here and hopefully helps them succeed in the endeavors that they're doing in terms of their education and employment opportunities post that. Okay. And if we go into our 2026 plan, so our annual budget has increased. Our budget for this year is $371,000. Our key objectives really are trying to enhance the promotion of seed and opportunities. So ensuring that we're getting as many students applying for the scholarships, as many students as possible applying for co-op positions with us, to make sure that they're taking advantage of the programs that we do help to support here. And then as well, some enhancements that are already underway. We did a tour for SNPSS students at our Nanticoke refinery in April of this year. So we were able to bring them to site to show them what a day at our Nanticoke refinery might look like. So we took them on a tour of our lab. We took them on a tour of the site, safely, of course. They saw we have a fire station right on site. They were able to see what that would look like as well. And so it was a really powerful day, and they had really great questions. So really great engagement from the students asking, you know, what would you need? What kind of careers are available at our sites, and what kind of education they would need to continue? So really positive, and we want to definitely continue that into next year as well. We will continue to be supporting the GREAT welding program. There is potential for a second 4-month student position at Nanticoke, and then continuing to support SMP through their curriculum development. Okay. And if we go to the next slide, so really what we look at this when we look at when we meet once a quarter to talk about it is really trying to understand, you know, the programs that we're supporting, are they meeting these seed success metrics? And really what we're looking at is some of the things that we're starting to really see is, you know, are we seeing more students getting those high grades in math and science? Are we seeing more scholarship applicants for STEM education? Are we seeing, you know, more post-secondary in general? And so some of these stats are more challenging to get because it's a broader, you know, it's not just schools in the community, but also outside, but trying to track those to ensure that we're focusing the funding and our efforts onto the correct items. Okay. And then that's what we had for you today, and we really wanted to have an opportunity to see if you had any questions or any comments. I know that last year we had some questions about supporting more education and tutoring at an elementary level, and we are looking into that to see how we can support that as well. So really appreciate the opportunity to get your feedback so that we can incorporate that into our subsequent conversations as a committee.
Okay, thank you for your update. Is there any questions or comments? Go ahead, Cynthia. Can you use your mic?
Assistance greatly appreciated to all of our students. And I noted that you had a tours to the Nanticoke and you have students. I thought, obviously I don't know what's going on around the hood. I thought it had been closed down, the oil refinery. So you don't see that big black smoke coming out anymore. Is it still going or?
No, we're still there. I'm still planning to be very much there. I mean, it's 30 minutes away, so there hasn't been any changes, and I would say we're investing in a lot of projects as well that are going to hopefully, you know, have us operating at a very safe and environmentally friendly way for years to come.
There was the Ontario Power Generation about 10 years ago,
Yeah.
more than 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So they're in the same region or area as us, but it was them that shut down.
Yep, follow up?
How big is the Nanticoke industrial site in like acres? It must be quite huge. I'm thinking if that shut down and this other's still running.
Sorry, I was listening to her. I didn't hear.
Yeah, I was saying it must be the
Yes, can you go
industrial.
to a mic or grab the mic? Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, the site must be quite large. Do you know in terms of acreage how many acres are we? Because it sounds huge.
Yeah, I don't have the size from a acreage perspective, more from our throughput and the number of employees and contractors that we have. We could take it as a follow-up and share it after. I don't have it off the top of my head.
Yeah, go ahead.
Of course, Ontario is going full speed ahead because we understand from that independent electrical operators, the energy needs in Ontario by 2050 are going to have doubled. So that every windmill, solar, whatever energy there is, and now of course at we are understanding down at Nanticoke, all eyes are on that site for small module reactors and maybe bigger. I don't know, but and it seems that's the site. That's why I'm wondering how big it is. Is that are you going to all fit in there, or what?
So there's our land, OPG has land there, Stelco has land there as well. So everyone has their own section of land. So I think where that interest is possibly on the OPG land would be my guess. Yeah. Yeah.
So, but that's all described as the Nanticoke industrial site? That's the generic general descriptor?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead, Audrey.
Yeah, I'd like to know, first of all, it's a really good program with my principal at, vice principal at Jameson School, and I'm very aware of Jericho. So my question is, how many of our students have actually gone on to go and work at Imperial Oil? And the second question is, do you have an internship where our students can go and work as an intern and turn it into a full-time job?
Okay, so I'll answer your second question first. So absolutely we do. So our co-op positions, like even though they're summer positions, they're paid like they're compensated like full-time employees. So they'll have a full term. So they're recognized. Most of the positions that we have, there's two. So there's one that's we're looking for a university student typically in engineering, just for the type of roles that they would be doing. So that would be qualified under their co-op program, and they would be able to take that and have it qualify in their program and also get compensated for it. The person that we had this year, it was his fourth term, so he has been successfully getting to our site, returning back, getting experiences in various kind of engineering and project roles. So definitely we do have that. And we also have an operations position also that is paid. And that one is more tailored towards, I would say, trades, because it gives you, they kind of rotate them through more of the trades aspects at our site. And then that has led to potentially opportunities through our subcontractors at the site. So it depends on the position that they're looking for. So many of our trades folks come via union to the site. So oftentimes they get experience and then they'll go through the unions to our sites. Yep.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so you don't have any of our students then who are working there full-time?
Sorry, as a full-time employee, like as
Full-time
like that
employee.
have been hired on.
Yep.
So we have a person, Michelle Van Every, who is from Six Nations, who was actually supported by this program, who is now a full-time employee at the site. And then I will say we do have some data, but I will say it's tricky because they have to self-identify and we need to make sure that we're careful with the privacy of that. But Michelle Van Every actually sits on one of our councils internally and has been a big supporter of this. So she often comes to our career fairs as well and talks about her experience.
And a follow-up again, Chief, if I could.
Go ahead.
Okay, my concern is if they go and get this experience there, that maybe should be thinking about offering an internship where they can go and intern in there to get a full-time job, permanent job for as many years as they want to live there or work there.
So definitely, I mean,
possible?
that is, yeah, absolutely, that is the goal. So I think the goal is that, for example, the person that was at our site for four years or has been coming back for his fourth term, the idea would be if they are up for it as well, if the student is willing, if we have an opportunity available and, you know, everything has gone well and they performed well, that we would offer then or have the ability to offer them a full-time position once they finish their degree. I want to make sure that I'm answering the question.
Jump in, maybe help support you, Natasha. So our co-op positions are just like internships. It's the same thing. They're full-time. And then we do hire annually into a variety of different positions on site, whether they're engineering or into operations, et cetera. And those people absolutely can apply for those jobs. So an internship or co-op can absolutely turn into full-time employment.
Yep, go ahead.
I would like to know that next time you come, that you bring some stats on it.
Okay.
So, and specifically from Six Nations, so that we can see that there is progress and growth in hiring for Imperial Oil, and that our students are basically learning, and then there's a job for them someplace that they can put their skills and talents to in education. Now,
Thank you.
Actually, if I'd just like to add to that from the employment and training standpoint, we struggle with our with our kids in science and math around. So it is tough when we're getting those applications out for the seed scholarships for the STEM subjects and the apprenticeships and stuff like that. Sometimes we are. It is difficult to get those applications in because we don't, and we've had this conversation with Gripsios as well. We don't see a lot of students in those fields. But once again, Imperial's always been such a great partner with GREAT. We do have internship wage subsidy programs and stuff like that, and we definitely have. I don't think we would have a problem with placing our community members at Imperial Oil.
thank you very much.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, thank you for the presentation. Yeah, stats would be good to see how successful the program is. One question I had is this seed program specific to Six Nations of the Grand River?
Yes.
So you do not have other Indigenous groups that do apply to this program?
So we have, like Jody mentioned, we have opportunities where we are hiring at the site, and that will be open to all. There are certain positions that are supported for Six Nations specifically. So the ops position and the operations co-op position in the summer, and the engineering position in the summer is specific to Six Nations, and then our scholarships are specific to Six Nations.
Follow-up?
Go ahead.
Just a follow-up question. Did you ever consider, and I didn't see it in your presentation, about funding a promising young student out of post-secondary in the post-secondary school area, for example, in science and engineering? Do you supply his tuition living expenses, say, for example, for 4 years? And then after the 4 years, maybe have a stipulation where it's kind of like the military, where they cover all the expenses for that. And then in turn, that particular student, once graduated, goes back to Imperial Oil for the time of their time that they were paid for to attend school. Do you have a program like that?
Yeah, so we have something, I would say there's no payback portion of it. We wouldn't look to do that. But what we do have is the seed scholarships are open to any student. So it's basically anybody who's graduated from high school going into their first year of college or university in a STEM program, and then we will support them throughout their program. So they can reapply for every year. So one of the students, for example, he has received it for every year that he's gone to university. He's received that support. And then this year we had 2 new students. they were going into 2 different programs, so one in biology and one I think was in chemical engineering, 2 different universities, but we were supporting that. And we're supporting that, I think, in a grand scheme that we want to support STEM education in general. We'd love for them to come into our organization and work for us, but realize that, you know, they may want to, you know, if they're studying biology, there may not be the specific role that they're looking for, but we still want to support, you know, kids going into secondary education in STEM. So definitely, and then they can reapply. So those, the recipients that were received the scholarships this year in their first year, they can reapply for their second, third, and fourth year. And as long as, you know, they're the best applicant, they will continue to receive our support.
Thank you.
Hazel?
When you talk about the STEM program, does that mean that the students have to go through the STEM program to qualify for this type of funding?
So they need to be able to show that they're focusing in either science, technology, engineering, or math. So that's their kind of focus. So we're primarily looking to support that because when we think about eventually kind of to be able to hire them post-secondary and hopefully bring them onto their site, that's typically what we hire for. So we're typically looking for either in operations or engineering. So those are the programs that we're going to be focusing on.
Because I'm just wondering broader than this program itself, because we've been approached to kind of supplement post-secondary funding because the students don't get enough. And I see that in 2025, it committed 361. The ask for education dollars here is huge because you know that the government has put so many people back on our ban list, and the first thing they're wanting is their education money. So I'm just wondering if this could be opened up broader to all students as opposed to just one stream of students through the STEM program.
I think some of the programs, I mean, at the elementary level, when we bring in, you know, whether it's supporting the teachers or whether it's in the high school, like some of the after school support in terms of tutoring, that's actually more broad. So they do support in science and math, but they're also supporting in English and socio studies. So our program, that 361,000, does support a little bit more broadly than that. But when we're looking at scholarships and when we're looking at what we're trying to do with those scholarships, which, like I said, is hopefully having a portion of those students apply to our site, I think that's where our focus in STEM has to be, because we want to make sure that we're supporting those students that want to go into that stream that hopefully will do well and have an interest in applying to be an employee at our location.
Go ahead, Cynthia.
Yeah, because I'm so ignorant, not knowing about what's down there. I was looking it up. I'm very impressed. I didn't realize how huge it was. That the refinery produces 25% of the petroleum products sold in Ontario. I had no idea how huge it was. So that's huge, including all you travelers, aviation fuel.
Yeah, that's right. So I think we represent, I think, at least a third of all the jet fuel that goes into Pearson.
And then I also note there that the Imperial Oil also engages in community investments in the Nanticoke area to support local infrastructure and whatever else it said. It flipped up on me. So is this this assistance that you're providing to our community for our students, is that part of that reaching out, or does, like, I'm just thinking, gee, this is great, as different of my colleagues have said, we're always on the hook for, we don't have enough for post-secondary, but our infrastructure, talk about closing the gap. We've got a $2.6 million gap to close here just for our infrastructure. I was wondering, since you're so huge, if we could look for any of that sort of assistance as well.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we do support in the Nanticoke area. So this is a part of that outreach that we would have highlighted. So, you know, we consider Six Nations an important community that we want to ensure that we're being a good neighbor to, that we are supporting. We do other investments in communities. So we invest in like wildlife refuge support. We invest in, there's some STEM camps in the area that is a little bit more broader than Six Nations students that we invest in support. And then as well, we look to ensure that even working with Six Nations through your Business Development Council to see if we can be on your community support program. So investing in funding there and ensuring that we're building out relationships, for example, with A6N that are supporting some of our work on our pipeline group. So we're trying to build as much of that support where we can bring more, I guess, of those business opportunities to the nation as well. And hopefully that then, of course, is funded to the community.
Follow up?
Stifling a lot of our business opportunities is our sore state of affairs of our infrastructure, like our wastewater, our water, that sort of thing. And it's to capacity, I do believe. We have 3 lagoons, but we really need updates on those. So
Okay, that's definitely something, I mean, happy to discuss that more and take that back for sure.
Okay, thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Leslie?
Hi, and thank you for your presentation. I have a question. You just mentioned the pipeline, right?
Yep.
And along the pipeline, they bury carbon sometimes, carbon dioxide down in, not so much as fracking, but they put it down into the bedrock so as to affect climate change. So it's not like.
So you're talking about carbon capture, is that
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yeah. So in that area, do you use hire in that area?
Are we hiring in the carbon capture, right? Yeah. So I think we haven't, and I'm going to look to Jody, but we haven't in this area. We haven't. I'm going to look.
Yeah, we're not currently working in carbon capture in this area.
Yeah.
So that would be just out west right now?
I believe so. From an industry perspective, not necessarily Imperial Oil. My understanding, some of that's going on in Alberta right now.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of regulation that is still unclear that I think is still being worked. So it's something that we're looking at, but it's definitely not something that we're currently doing in Ontario.
Okay, again, thank you for coming tonight and your presentation.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Can I have a mover to accept his information? Moved by Audrey, second by Leslie. All in favor? Anybody opposed? See none? Carried.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, let's go to number 6, Chiefs updates. And then I will give it over to the CEO updates after mine. On June 10th, I received a notice from the Ministry of Finance in collaboration with the Solicitor General that there is an engagement opportunity for interested communities. The Ontario government is looking to consider the links between contraband tobacco, organized crime, and the resulting impacts on community safety. So this will be discussed more at the community level. The first reading of,
my ears perked up. So it was the Minister of Finance, and did you say the Attorney General? Solicitor General?
yes, Solicitor General.
And they're interested in looking at the
An
links.
engagement opportunity for interested communities.
We need more money to go to our police. You know how we're having to subsidize and to have that drug unit. So, yeah.
So this will be probably
Let's
going to
have
your
it.
committee. Yeah. Let's go to the first reading of Bill C-37, an act respecting water source, source water, drinking water, wastewater, and related infrastructure on First Nations land, formerly Bill C-61, was tabled in the House of Commons on June 16th. My office will review the bill in detail in the coming weeks, but early comments from various sources are reporting it's a watered down version, pun intended, of the former bill. I attended the Chiefs of Ontario Leadership Council and the annual General Assembly along with Councillor Dean Hill, Councillor Greg Fraser, and Councillor Cynthia Jameson in Rama last week, along with a delegation. There were 25 resolutions on the floor that addressed a range of topics, including health, social, education, criminal activity, mining, water, data systems, human trafficking, governance, and jurisdiction. It's always good to connect and network with First Nations leadership throughout Ontario. However, it upsets me to know that we must continue to fight so hard year after year to secure basic needs and services that we all deserve. Solidarity Day was a great success. I did an opening remarks and helped out through the day. Niawa Councillor Dean Hill for emceeing the day, and to all the councillors who were able to attend that day. Niawa to Lee Thompson staff and Parks and Recreation staff for helping put the event on. Niawa to Hill Snack Bar for the catering. Niawa to our sponsors, Grand River Enterprises and Zares from Caledonia. Niawa to all the musicians that played. Niawa to all our volunteers who helped make the day happen. And to the 3 OMSK students, a special Niawa for sharing your first ever live performance. A job well done, and I hope they continue performing. It was they did awesome. And congratulations to Corey Hill for her amazing artwork on the Metrolinx bus. It was a great day coming together in unity, joy, and community spirit. Also, school will be out for the summer this week. Hope everyone enjoys their summer, and for everyone to be safe. And congratulations to all the students who are graduating. Council, can we give a round of applause to all the graduates who will be graduating this year? And again, congratulations. So I'll give it over to Deb, the CEO's update.
Nyawa Chief. I've got a couple of updates regarding the track over at Public Parks and Rec. So the update is that the esports field will also be opening. There is line painting that is expected to occur in mid-July, weather permitting, but the field is open. Also, the new running track is scheduled to open on Monday, June the 29th, weather permitting. So finally, the blue track will be open for our walkers who've been waiting for this. We just want to remind people of some of the guidelines for the use of the track just to ensure its longevity, because it has undergone significant improvements. So a reminder, there are no motorized vehicles, including bikes, ATVs, or scooters allowed on the blue track. No cleats or spiked footwear unless approved for the organized track use. No food or drinks other than water. Proper footwear only. No pets on the track surface. Please dispose of your garbage appropriately and respect the scheduled programming and organized use that is there. So finally, our blue track will be opening on Monday. I also want to thank our staff that organized the Solidarity Day this past weekend. They've spent a lot of time and energy doing that, and I'd just like to say Nyawa to them for that. And lastly, I would like to introduce our community to our 2 new chief positions within administration. I'm going to call up Jill Hill, our new Chief Operating Officer, as well as Donna Dodgson, who's our new Chief Financial Officer. They're going to come up and say hello to the community and provide a little bit of their background.
So, and again, just the one mic works. We'll try to get that other one working.
Hi, good evening. My name is Jill Hill. I'm from Six Nations of the Grand River. I've lived here all my life. I know most of the people sitting at this table. There's a few that I are not familiar with, but my interest in applying for the Chief Operating Officer position was in systems enhancement. That's my vision for Six Nations, that we can have better operations systems that support us and support the elected council. So that was my reason for applying, and that is part of the vision that I hold, that Six Nations will become leaders in operations as well as politically. So again, I'm Jill Hill from Six Nations. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Donna Dodson, and I am a member of Nipissing First Nation. I'm very pleased to come here as the Chief Financial Officer. My training background is that I'm a chartered professional accountant, and I hold 3 certifications from AFOA Canada: the Certified Aboriginal Financial Manager, the Certified Aboriginal Professional Administrator, and the Certified Indigenous Human Resources Professional designations. I'm very pleased to be here. I have worked at 2 other First Nations prior to coming here. I served as the Chief Executive Officer and Chief Financial Officer at Nipissing First Nation, as well as Finance Manager at Mississaugas of Scugog Island First Nation. I'm very pleased to be here.
Thank you both. And Six Nations is very happy that you've chosen us to be your employer, and I am very eager to begin our work together. Nyawa.
And again, welcome. Okay, can I have a mover to accept the Chief's and the CEO's update? Moved by Leslie, second by Melba. All in favor? Anybody opposed? See none, carried. Okay, let's go to number 7, updates from committee meetings. Community committee meeting Wednesday, June 10th. Go ahead, Dean.
Thanks, Chief. So actually, 2 of the things that we did discuss in the open were both within your updates as well. Chief and CEO, we discussed the Solidarity Day, some of the background and the events, the planning for it. I'm very glad that the day went really well. Participation was really high. I mean, you couldn't have asked for a better day, that's for sure. With the weather being perfect as it was, having all the bouncy castles and inflatables involved. I'm really glad everybody came out and enjoyed the day. And then the next thing we were talking about was just the blue track opening as well. You know, we just basically need the grass cut and cleaned up and should be good to go for that. So that's everything. Thanks, Chief.
Okay, can I have a mover to accept his update? Moved by Leslie, second by Cynthia. All in favor? Anybody opposed? See none, carried. Number 2, Built Environment, Climate Adaptation, Lands and Membership Committee. I know Dale's not here. I think he's the chair. Is there a co-chair, Helen? Yep, go ahead, Helen.
I wasn't aware he wasn't going to be here. I guess the most important one to mention in terms of lands membership is Bill C2 never passed yet, and they're going on summer break. So there's going to be a lot of consultations when they come back about it. Everybody thought it was going to pass, but it never.
What it is.
Pardon?
Of the community with Bill C2.
Oh, Bill C2 is a second generation cutoff that everybody's been talking about for the last year. So that was good. Good news that it never got passed. A lot of the issues I know we had a lot of discussion, and Rod Witt will come here to, who's very expert in water, what's going on with water and different things, and he talked a lot about the abandoned gas wells. I forget I forget how many he said across Canada. There's like 2,000 or 3,000, I think, abandoned gas wells across Canada. So he talked a lot about that. He's very technical when he speaks, so he did really good telling us what's going on. Environment is continuing to work with the gas wells as well, and she's continuing to work with the soil, issues about soil, dumping soil and that. She's doing a really good job, Sarah. Her name's Sarah. I don't know her last name though. Sarah Curley, and she's doing a really good job with the environment, setting up her department and doing a lot of different things. So she's doing good. Mike from Public Works, Mike Ventura, was going through all his different things and what roads he's fixing and different things like that. So it's really at built environment. There's not too often new agenda items. We're dealing with the same ones all the time. We deal with public works and roads, environment. So there's not really any really new agenda items that do come up. But there's so much work that's involved with all these other issues. I mean, we could go on and on and on and on about all the work that's involved with the issues that built environment deals with. So sometimes when you report on these things, it sounds like you're reporting on the same thing, but it's because every month when they bring up their issues, they're generally the same issue, but there's more, they're expanded on, or there's more information that the committee needs to hear. So Derek Hill, our executive director of Built Environment, I don't know if he's an executive director of Built Environment, continuously updates us on all the different projects that building projects and different things that Six Nations Council is doing. Again, the process is slow sometimes. I mean, some of the projects been around for quite a while, as we know, like the auspice and different ones. And it takes time to get to do all of that kind of work. I know it sounds repetitive, but it takes time to get all of these projects going and to deal with all the different issues that come up with the project. So we're moving forward on the projects. It just goes slow, unfortunately. I don't know. I think that's something mainly what I can think about. Pardon? I can't tell what you're saying. Uber was there? Uber wasn't at my committee. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, can I have a mover to accept
Anyway,
this information?
I don't understand what my colleague's talking about, but that's the basic report.
Okay. Moved by Audrey, seconder. Second by Melba. All in favor? Anybody opposed? See none, carried. Let's go to number 3, the Finance Committee. The meeting date was Friday, June 12th. Oh, go ahead, Cynthia.
Well, I'm not the chair. I'm not the co-chair. But I am a member of that committee. Well, sometimes. Sometimes. They call that selective, I think. It comes in handy. But I was, what we've been, our last meeting, what we had asked for from finance was we wanted to see, remember we had been dealing with the budgets and everything, and we wanted to know a report on our accounts receivable. Well, as part of that, in the questioning, it was whether, and you'll like this, Jill, seeing as you're right into your systems and making everything more efficient. It was a question on systems, because it was explained to us. You know how these budgets come to council by and large, ISK ones, and there's what they call NOBA, Notice of Budget Adjustment, or there's actual amendments. So there's all kinds of notices come, and we get informed and we have to sign off on the thing. But the question was, is there a system to make sure, okay, we got this notice, it was signed off, but did we actually get the money? So we were assured they were working on that, because in years past, it was it seemed somewhat hit and miss on some of them. So that, because what we're looking at as a finance committee is we don't action things, rather we review policies and like systems to try to make us more efficient. So my ears perked up when I heard Jill's interest over there. What else was I going to say? Notice, blah, blah, blah. Oh, And the policies that we've been, some of them that we've been wanting to work on are the finance policy, procurement policy, bad debt policy, and write-offs. So Donna, you got your work cut out. We've been waiting for you because we got copies of those and we were gonna start working on it ourselves. Then our last chief financial officer said she preferred if her and her staff, finance staff, could take the first run at it, and then bring it to our committee to see if there would be further. So we're very happy you're going to be here. Don't run out the door quite yet. But there's so much work for everyone, and especially you. But so that's about it.
Okay, don't be scaring her. Can I have a mover to accept the update as information? Moved by Amos, seconder. Second by Dean. All in favor? Anybody opposed? See none, carried. Let's go to number 8. The next meeting is July 14th. Deadline for agenda items is by noon on Tuesday, July 7th. And let's go to number 9, motion to adjourn. Moved by Carrie, second by Leslie. All in favor? Anybody opposed? See none, carried. Thank you for joining us tonight, and have a great night, everyone.